Oh, hey, bud, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of our Burst 1 tier list. We're back with part 2 today, and we're going to start off with Swimsuit Mary. Let's jump into it. Swimsuit Mary. Fantastic tits.
Oh, these? My boobies?
Jesus.
Yes. What?
Oh, she's smoking. Looking at her kit. She does mostly heals, and it depends upon how many times you use her burst. It does more heals the longer the fight goes on. Skill 2, depending upon how many times she bursts. So it goes from 9 to 16 to the 20. And that's again for all water girls. Her burst gives everybody who's water as well more damage for only 3 seconds, which is pathetic in my opinion. I had to just put on a hat because Twitch is dumb. I'm not a big fan of Mary. Mary to me goes all the way down to a C tier. The reasons, again, she doesn't help you burst. She only activates skills during burst, so she's not really useful outside of that. She doesn't really heal very well compared to like Noise. However, Mary does burst on 20-second intervals, much like Dorothy does, so you're always going to be able to burst with Mary. And she's only really a niche effectiveness against fire types, and so she hits a C. I almost would put her into the D. The next girl up, Rupee from the Christmas edition. Wonderful design, honestly one of the most aggressive loot designs at the beginning of the game. What she does, last bullet hit gives her more defense. Her allies are all going to be getting a bunch of more defense. It's not that much defense, guys. It's like 1% up to 4%. Lasts for 20 seconds though. The burst gauge filling means that she will fill your burst speed a lot faster. So if you're having problems getting your burst filled, she can help you with that. For her burst, she taunts all enemies for 5 seconds, and then she'll recover a bunch of her attack back. So she has her life steal again for 10 seconds during that tanking, and she helps everybody else reload. Similar to Tia, you'll notice that Winter Rupee, one of the only other ones that can reset you to burst 1. So I consider her a burst 0. She bursts, she needs somebody else to be burst 1 to actually move to burst 2. I find survivability is kind of questionable. You kind of just want to do damage. So I would put her down into the C category. I don't find her that good except for the burst recharge, which I find good in PvP. Our next girl, Miranda. Her skills are basically DPS. After she hits 30 times, she hits better. And then after she hits 30 times, she hits better. So she's just hitting better all the time, which is great because she has a submachine gun, which is not very accurate, but she hits better if you hit 30 times. 25% critical damage. That's only skill 5. 25% critical damage is huge. Put her with Scarlet. Holy, you're gonna be pumping out that damage. It's only upon burst. Her burst also, for somebody with the highest attack, which is probably Scarlet, increases the attack again by 30% and the critical damage by another 40%. So if you have a Scarlet that's below half health and you have Miranda on the squad, Scarlet is going to just break that damage point. Scarlet's amazing with Miranda. Miranda helps whoever your attack is. So if you have like a Modernia that's pumping out a massive amount of attacks and getting a massive amount of crits, she'd be great with Modernia as well. She's a support character because she just buffs whoever your best attacker is. She's also a 20-second burst. I find her extremely useful because of this. She doesn't do a lot of damage and stuff herself, but I put her in the A. She's not an S. Next girl, we got Volume. I'm afraid to put her on the screen. I'm wondering if YouTube's going to ding me for this, but you know what? Who cares? I'm glad she keeps her legs closed until I click on her. I have to remember not to click because that might set YouTube off. We'll do it for stream, but we're not doing it for YouTube. We got, obviously, when she kills an enemy, she gets bonus attack, so she's going to be buffing up all that damage of herself. She also decreases the burst skill cooldowns of everyone as well, depending upon how many times you use it, and it does trigger repetitively. There's more critical damage that goes to all her allies. And then also, while she bursts, it affects all allies. Critical rate goes up yet again. So as you can see with Volume, she's very similar to Miranda. I would easily put Volume above Miranda. I would say Volume is a better option. Volume, because the burst, makes her more effective, but she only does burst and she only does critical rate and she doesn't repair and deal damage as well as the other ones. Honestly, I could put her into both, but she is a good girl. She doesn't do good damage by herself until she starts rolling and getting those kills. She's definitely, in my opinion, better than a Miranda. Next girl, we got Soda. So Soda, I love her bucket. I love Soda so dearly. Even though she's a stupid, dumb nerd that trips over everything, Soda is a wonderful girl. She obviously is going to give a bunch of health out there, stacks up to 5 times. Max HP can heal you if you stay over it because you keep that health between it. It's 180 attacks. That's a lot of attacks. She'll also affect her allies by giving them HP recovery. She does do healing based on how many times she stacks up her maximum HP, which is based on how many times she does the attacks. When she bursts, she also increases attacks and stuns. Stuns is really important in the PvP. If you can get a burst off in PvP, all the enemies are stunned for 1 second. She can burst every 20 seconds, so she's pretty good on that. As you guys know, I don't value healers very much. She doesn't add to the burst. She doesn't heal very much without getting a lot of shots in. Machine guns are heavy to reload and take a long time. It's only a stun for 1 second. I'm putting her in the D. She's unfortunately the first one that gets the D. I honestly would never put her in a squad. I would put her in a PvP maybe, but I would not put any investment into her. Next girl, we have Exia. Everyone loves Exia, except I don't know shit all about Exia. I never looked at her kit, and I don't give 2 shits about her. But let's look at an Exia together. When her last round hits, she obviously is making people get debuffed. They do less damage. They have less defense. Is she a shotgun? She's a sniper rifle. Gross. That's even worse. She attacks with the last round of ammunition again. She's going to affect herself by giving her 11% more damage, roughly, but it can stack 5 times. I'm not very impressed with these skills. I'm not gonna lie. Affects 10 enemies with the largest defense when she ults, which is every 20 seconds, where she does less than maximum final damage, but she also decreases defense by 2%. When it's fully stacked, it does more damage. Wow. Okay. We're gonna put her straight into the D category. I don't appreciate those skills. Now, I could see her being higher if she's used better with other people. She debuffs the enemy while she buffs herself. She doesn't do massive damage. There's a reason she's in the D as well. I know that some people use her an awful lot. I could see her being used in like PvP because you're decreasing the attack and defense of your enemies. You don't have to debuff your enemy like you might have to for chapter bosses, but for a burst 1 slot, there's a lot better I would pick. Mary, non-swimsuit edition. As you can see by this gray icon, I don't actually have Mary, and I'm fine with that. You may know of her from her swimsuit edition that we previously did. Last target hit again. Last bullet hit affects the one ally with the lowest HP, so whoever needs the healing the most. When she's also bursting, which activates above 50% health when she's bursting, I should say, everyone gets more defense for 20 seconds. They recover all their HP basically by 40%. It affects everyone. If you need someone to heal, this would be it. This would literally be it. You want to use her, hit the last shot, have her above 50% health, and you get a bunch of defense. You get a bunch of health. She's a great healer, but all she does is heal, and I would put her in the B category. Pretty much similar to Noise. They're both wonderful healers. Noise has a lot more withstandability, while Mary would just be able to heal the rest of your team. Noise also has a taunt, which would make her effective as well. The next one, another girl I don't have, Ludmilla. She's in the event right now, but she's a different Nikke. I don't want her. She's not even on my wish list. She's kind of like Exia. So again, she's another last hit Andy. If she hits, she decreases defense and attack. When she bursts, she does a taunt for 15 seconds and also decreases damage she takes for 60 seconds. While she's bursting, she does 161% of her damage to 10 enemies with the highest attack, which is usually the boss and a bunch of others, but it only affects 10 enemies. If there's one enemy, you do 1 damage. It's not dispersed like Dorothy was. And if she's above 50% while bursting, everybody gets more defense. If you need a tank, Ludmilla can tank for you. I'm putting her down in the D category. There's a lot of girls getting Ds right now, but it's very simple. I don't need a tank. If I wanted a tank, I would take Noise, because Noise not only heals herself, she doesn't get more defense, she'll take the damage. Because she can heal herself, it's far better of a tank than Ludmilla, in my personal opinion. Frima's on my wish list. After she lands 4 attacks, debuffs for 10 seconds, defense minus 15, affects who you're shooting. This will just devastate them. That's a lot of defense that goes down. And then when she attacks with her full charge, she gets HP back. So she heals herself while debuffing the boss, for example. I wouldn't use her on anybody but bosses because that's where you want to focus your defense decrease. And then when she bursts, she does the same thing that Ludmilla does, where she attacks 10 enemies with 100% of her damage. Not highest attack, but it's highest defense. It's not that great, but it also decreases their defense yet again. And this stacks with I Want to Sleep. So you could get a defense decrease on a boss of negative 25% defense. She also heals. So where Ludmilla is buffing herself, Frima becomes so much better because she debuffs the enemies. I actually think Frima belongs in the A category. She's wonderful at killing bosses. She's wonderful at decreasing defense in PvP. She also heals. So you can easily have her as a healer. I wouldn't put her as a main healer. She doesn't heal as much as, say, Noise or Mary, but that 25% debuff on bosses is critical. It's huge. And that's why Frima goes into the A category, and I wish I had her. Sakura, let's bring her out. I don't own her. I heard she's good. I don't know how good she is. We need to look at her skills to find out. Here's our skills. After 3 normal attacks, all allies get 8% defense. Stacks up to 10 times. Bro, what weapon does she have? Sniper rifle. 3 normal attacks. How many shots in her sniper rifle? 6. So she's giving you 16 defense per clip. That's some huge defense you can get there. That is some big, huge defense. I like that. In PvP, that would be amazing. Affects all allies when attacking an enemy projectile. Damage to the projectile continuously. But there's not many attacks that you really have to attack down. Like even Nihilester's meteors that Nihilester spits out, they're not that strong. Most projectiles you can kill very quickly, which is why Small White is so good, is because she clears missiles. I don't find this to be effective in any way, shape, or form, but the defense is still good. When she enters full burst, she affects all allies by cool down a burst skill by 5 seconds. That puts her automatically in like an A and S tier rank. What is her burst? It's 40 seconds. Do less damage to iron for 30 seconds. I mean, if you're bringing somebody who's weak against wind to a fight that you need them to survive in, 30 seconds isn't the entire battle. It just means you have to burst once and then they're never taking damage from that wind code enemy. And activates all allies when Cherry Blossom Tea is fully stacked. Cherry Blossom Tea being the massive defense. Damage to parts up by 23%, which means you're doing parts for the rest of the battle. Except she only activates every other time, so it's not always act. So I kind of like her for the fact that if you're fighting a wind enemy, that she's like, nah, bitch, you aren't doing damage at all. And I do like the amount of defense you get, which means you're not taking damage at all anyways, because 80% defense is huge. Is the train wind? I feel like the trains win, so she'd be great for fighting the train. She's only doing defense, also making wind useless. So she's a very niche character. I feel like Sakura kind of fits between the A and B. I don't want to put her into A because she's so niche, but she can be so niche that she fits into A. But most of the time, she's going to be a B tier. So I'm going to put her in between. I feel like she's in both. Thank you guys for all the feedback that you've given. I'm loving that you're enjoying these YouTube only polls. We did not poll for Leona. Unfortunately, we skipped her. I wish I got Timmy, but you know what? We're going to be pulling for Miranda today. I hate these. I hate them because it makes me feel like I'm cheating on Twitch, because Twitch doesn't get to see these. So if we get an SSR, it always makes me feel bad. Well, let's see if we get one. Nope. No, that's not an SSR. We did not get Miranda. YouTube.
Awaiting your order.
I'm sorry that we didn't bring you any luck this time. Maybe in part 3 of our 3-part burst list, maybe we'll get an SSR then. Not bad. No N102. That's some good times. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.